Today, we're going to dive into a really fascinating field, energy balancing. We'll be looking at a system called the emotion code, body code, and belief code. And it's all based on this idea that our bodies have an incredible innate wisdom that we can actually tap into. So, how does it all work? Well, let's find out. You hear this all the time from people after their first energy balancing session. They are just stunned because a practitioner who might be miles and miles away has somehow pinpointed a super specific emotional block or physical issue without ever being told about it.
And this is almost always the answer they get. It's such a simple response, but it gets right to the heart of what we're talking about today. It's this idea that our bodies are holding on to a huge amount of information that our conscious minds just aren't aware of, and there are ways to access it.
Okay, so that brings us to our first big idea. At its core, this work isn't presented as some kind of magic. It's framed as a structured conversation with your subconscious mind. You know, the part of you that runs the show behind the scenes, managing all your automatic functions and deeply held beliefs. So here's the crucial point. Energy balancing is all about facilitation. A practitioner isn't putting energy into you or forcing some kind of change. Nope. Instead, they're helping to identify what's unresolved or stuck so that your body can do what it does best. Find its own equilibrium again. Think of it like removing interference so the whole system can just recalibrate itself.
So how is this conversation actually structured? Well, it's not just one single technique. It's a really comprehensive system of 3 integrated codes, all developed by Dr. Bradley Nelson to work together, kind of synergistically.
First up, you've got the emotion code, which is all about finding and releasing trapped emotional energy. Then there's the body code, which expands on that and looks for imbalances across 6 totally different areas of your well-being. And finally, the belief code digs deep into our subconscious programming to uncover limiting beliefs and all the patterns that keep them in place. So together, they create this really multi-layered approach to wellness. And to get a little more specific, the body code acts like a full systems check for your body. It investigates 6 key areas, things like energetic disturbances in the body's meridians, hidden pathogens or stressors, environmental toxins, communication breakdowns between organs and glands. That's what's known as circuits and systems, structural misalignments, and finally, nutrition and lifestyle factors. It's basically a systematic math for pinpointing potential root causes of an imbalance. Right, so you're probably wondering, how is this communication even possible? Well, proponents of this method actually point to principles from fields like biology and physics to explain the connection between our mind, our body, and the energy fields that might connect them. To get it, we first have to understand the difference between our 2 minds. Think of your conscious mind as the captain of the ship. It analyzes, it plans, and it makes up about 10% of our brain function. But the subconscious mind, that's the autopilot. It's the other 90%. It's governing our emotions, our habits, our beliefs, and even things we don't think about, like our heartbeat and digestion. And that's the part of us these codes are trying to talk to. Now, this connects to a field of science called psychoneuroimmunology. And what that field has shown is that emotional stress has real, measurable physical effects. It impacts our immune system, our hormones, you name it. So from an energy balancing perspective, a trapped emotion is seen as this specific frequency of unresolved emotional energy from a past event that just keeps creating a physical ripple effect in the body today, messing with normal function. And then you've got the biofield hypothesis. This theory suggests our bodies are constantly generating measurable electromagnetic fields. I mean, think about an EKG measuring the heart's electrical activity. It's kind of like that. The idea here is that this biofield isn't just a random byproduct, it's a communication network. It's the medium through which the subconscious might be sending out information, and it's key to understanding how a practitioner could tune in, especially from a distance. Okay, so we've covered the theory, but what does a session actually look like? How does a practitioner take all these concepts and apply them in practice to have that conversation with the subconscious? Well, practitioners follow a really clear 4-step process. First, they ask very specific yes or no questions aimed directly at the client's subconscious. Second, they use muscle testing to get the answers. And this isn't about strength. It's tapping into what's called the ideomotor response, these tiny involuntary muscle movements that reflect our subconscious thoughts. Third, based on that feedback, they interpret the cues to figure out the imbalance. And finally, they ask the body what needs to be addressed first, making sure the session is always gentle and led by the client's own system. Okay, this is the big one. This is the question that trips a lot of people up. I mean, it's one thing to imagine this working in person, but how on earth can a practitioner in one city connect with someone's subconscious in a completely different one? The explanation really rests on a few key ideas. First, biofield resonance, the theory that the practitioner's biofield can interact with the client's, kind of like two tuning forks resonating with each other. Second, focused intention. The practitioner basically acts like a radio antenna, tuning their attention specifically to the client's system. And finally, they use proxy testing, which is muscle testing on themselves as a stand-in for the client. It's often compared to the concept of quantum non-locality in physics, where connected particles seem to influence each other instantly, no matter the distance. Once an imbalance is found, it's released using intention and a magnet over the body's main energy channel, the governing meridian. This is believed to clear the energetic signal of that imbalance from the whole system. So, we've explored the what, the how, and the why. Let's wrap things up by looking at the practical side. What do people actually experience? What are the limits? And most importantly, what do you need to know about safety?
Clients report a really wide range of outcomes. For many, it's a sense of emotional clarity, just feeling lighter. Some notice cognitive shifts, like their focus gets sharper. Others find their behavior changing. They're just less reactive to stuff that used to trigger them. And a lot of people report physical ease, like a release of tension they've been holding on to. These shifts are just a reflection of the body naturally returning to balance, where cells can function and communicate better without all that old interference. Now, this is absolutely the most critical takeaway. Energy balancing is a complementary modality. It is not a medical treatment. It does not diagnose, treat, or cure any disease. It's designed to support your body's overall well-being, but you should always, and I mean always, consult a licensed medical professional for any and all of your medical needs. And because this work is so subtle, ethics are everything. It's vital that you only work with certified practitioners. Certification ensures they've been rigorously trained in these very specific protocols, that they know how to act as a neutral facilitator, and that they're committed to high ethical standards through ongoing education. It really protects both you and the integrity of the work itself. So, when you boil it all down, the core idea here is that our body is like a library of information, and these codes are one system for learning how to read it. It reframes our whole perspective, from looking for answers outside of ourselves to learning how to listen more closely within. Which kind of leaves us with one last thought. If your body really does hold the answers, what questions are you asking?